The next interview is with Gisbert Auwaerter.
Again, my name is Gene Horton, and we're up in the Bayport-Blue Point Public Library doing our oral history of Bayport and Blue Point.
And I'm Gisbert Auwaerter, Gisbert Paul Auwaerter, a 77-year-old occupant of the Bayport-Blue Point area, and proud to say that our 5 grandchildren up here are all attending the same school I did, although, of course, we were 49 students. There are 249 students.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah.
And did you start school in Bayport, Gisbert?
Yes, absolutely. The first grade it was.
First grade.
Yeah. And it was a beautiful thing because the school system evolved from 1st to 12. By the time I hit 5th grade, I already had my junior, senior idols that were great basketball players, great soccer players, of which Alden was one. He was fantastic. And I always remember this very blonde, extremely handsome, muscular individual. And I tell him that, and he won't even answer me. But that's okay. Yeah.
Who was that, Alden?
Alden.
Alden.
Yeah. He was an outstanding individual.
And I'm sure he's in the Hall of Fame over there.
He is.
Must
His picture
be.
hangs there.
Yeah. That's quite a tribute, that Hall of Fame.
And Don Smith.
Don
who
Smith just
recently
died.
passed
I
on.
know.
He was another great. And
Another
there
great
was,
athlete. There were many of them.
Wiggly and he was the at MacArthur Airport.
Al.
Al, yeah. A moment of silence, please.
That's why I'm not good at Jeopardy anymore.
Oh yeah, I love watching it.
You have to be fast. You know the answer, but you can't think of it right away. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
We'll think of it we'll mention it later.
Yeah.
All right.
But those are all the pleasure of growing up in a community really is having those people around you that set good examples.
Sure did. So you were first grade through 12th grade in the same building.
Yep.
And it's still there today, that building, right?
That building's there, added on here, there, and all over. And, of course, between none of the other ancillary academy are not there.
Do you remember any of your teachers way back? Or?
Oh, sure.
You do, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And even in the elementary?
Oh, yeah. And I have a yearbook, which, of course, mentions, which
and you
is
graduated in 1954.
Right. I went into the Navy in 53.
Oh, 53, okay.
Yeah, because you were allowed to go in.
Before.
And we went as a reservist, and that's a fact. But the memories that I have that I find interesting is, of course, in Blue Point, the beach club at the end of Blue Point Avenue on the right side.
Bradley Beach. It was called that for a while.
By the time I had my swimming lessons there, it was an L-shaped boardwalk going out.
That's right.
And, of course, the L was starting to dip a little into the water because already back then it was into decline.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it became subject to vandals later on.
Yeah.
But I always remember taking my swimming lessons there.
Right there at the beach.
As a 9-year-old,
Today that's all wetlands. New York State.
Which is good.
It's preserved.
Yeah, it's good.
But no more beach club. No.
No, but you still see the pillars.
Oh, you still see them.
Oh, sure.
But they were damaged quite a bit in Superstorm
they got
Sandy.
knocked up a little,
They got knocked up, so that's
but
too bad.
Those were just cement. But when I ride by,
and somewhere under all those brambles there's a fountain.
Yes, I know the fountain.
But I haven't seen the fountain in years.
You would have to really dig for that one. You might see it now with the flood.
Maybe I haven't really been down there, but I must go down and look.
And just for the heck of it, before tick season gets a little too heavy.
Tick seasons, and then they have poison ivy.
Oh, beautiful.
And brambles.
Beautiful. The brambles keep all the nuisance people away.
They do.
Yeah. It really is.
But
amazing.
I think the wall and the fountain are still there to some extent.
To some extent.
But the beach club, long gone.
It was a large structure.
It was. Oh, it was a big structure.
And you have pictures of it, I think.
Yeah. The hotel that was there, they used to call it the 5 Mile Look.
Yeah, and then you also, going, you could look across the bay.
Right
and
across the far island.
And they had the tracks going down.
Yeah, they did, of course.
And of course, even when I was 9 years old, which is 68 years ago, 67 years, they were not being used.
No.
But they were evident.
They were evident. You could see them.
Yeah, they didn't. They only covered those later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What led your family to move here? What brought them to this whole area?
Well, my father came over in 26.
Okay.
And my mother followed a few years later and then married here.
Oh, they were married over here?
Yeah, but the courtship was transatlantic.
Oh, it was?
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
So they came
and
over
of course,
by ship?
It was very difficult times in Europe.
Very difficult.
Yeah, because depression didn't abate, and of course nasty things happened. Started to be a difficult situation.
Yes. Yeah.
But
so then they got here, and what led them to Blue Point or Bayport?
Right. Well, my father worked in New York for a short time, and my mother came out here to work as a domestic for the Millers through a reference, I think through possibly my namesake, Gisbert Jansen, who was a church refinisher in New York. He did the pews and the altars and things like that.
Sure.
And he was a very knowledgeable man. He lived on North Ocean Avenue.
Oh.
And then my father came out because things weren't that good here either, and then we're talking about the crash.
No, that was bad.
And he was working for them out here in Blue Point. That was the Miller estate on the corner of Bergen and
That's still
South
standing.
Still standing.
Sure.
And beautiful house.
Yeah.
And they had a paint firm in New York, Tuttle.
Oh, they did?
Tuttle Paints.
I never knew that.
Yeah, and he also, Captain Carl Muller, Miller,
Okay.
purchased Bayport Flower Houses, he and Olga Miller, on a second mortgage. They were the first mortgage was bankrupt.
Yeah.
It was being run by Captain Carl Muller, Muller.
Muller.
And he was a retired captain, and it seems back in the 20s or late after the First World War, sea captains that were involved in the Northeast had this thing about running a greenhouse. That it was going to be heavenly and lots of money. And well, they built 2 greenhouses that were number 1 and 2, still standing.
Still standing.
Yeah, 1925 King greenhouses, and then along came prosperity of the epidemic. We had the flu epidemic, influenza.
Yeah.
And even if you picked flowers in the field, they made money because people wanted to send flowers to a funeral.
Of course.
The metropolitan areas were terribly hard hit by this epidemic.
Yeah.
And that's what caused him to go into business, and it took a while for that to subside.
Yeah.
And he grew carnations, but he couldn't make it. He built he was doing well. He decided to build another larger greenhouse, 275 foot. Well, actually 300 foot. And in the process of starting to build it, he went under. He couldn't do it. And King Construction Company started to fold at the same time because they had a lot of construction going on that actually didn't gel out for them either, and they were caught holding the bag. They were at I think Buffalo or Rochester, in between there somewhere. Our son John is an archivist, and he just has all the information on that. It's quite something to see. The net end results was that where Fontana is, that is where the Sphinx is.
The Sphinx, sure.
Yeah, that was actually part of Bayport Flower Houses.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, and that man that owned florists down in Baldwin.
Oh.
And of course, he had the first mortgage. It was going down, so the Millers took over his mortgage and that. But the land stopped there, so that one greenhouse stopped at 265 feet. But it was finished.
Good.
And then the whole place was converted from water to steam.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big conversion.
Yeah, and it was interesting because the house, and I still remember our house, it was only a kitchen, a bedroom, and a lavatory.
Wow.
That was it. Underneath the house was the boilers,
The steam.
the floor, and I was a little tot then. I mean, I must have been maybe 2, 3, but I remember the floor feeling hot
Always.
when you walked on it.
Yeah. Good in winter, though.
I don't know how dangerous that is.
That was
but
hot.
I don't know. Oh. I mean, those times were very difficult, even in the 30s. But what happened is my father came up and ran the place and made it a go. Yeah. And then they moved up here in 32 to take residence. And my sister was born in 33, I'm born in 36.
Good.
And life started to evolve. It was just amazing.
I always liked seeing it on the trucks.
Yeah.
Growing since 1932.
Yeah, and actually the establishment is really officially from 26.
A little older.
Yeah, from
Yes.
26, yeah. That's the I still have a few tools from the Muller name.
You do?
Yeah, but they're not very good tools.
But you have them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then your father ran the business, of course.
And my mother.
And your mother.
Exceedingly, my father, a graduate from Hohenheim in Germany, and my mother from business school.
Good.
And she had a business head.
Good
She
partnership.
was a very conservative business person.
Yeah.
And slowly, as the business became a little more sufficient on wholesale, it was okay, but then the evolved into retail because of the changing marketing conditions.
Of course.
Yeah.
You used to ship a lot of flowers, I presume, by train, didn't you?
Train.
Train.
That's right. Yeah. And
into,
also Schmidt Trucking.
Oh, trucking into the city?
Yep, they're no more. No more trucking now. If it's done at all, it's done by each individual.
The railroad was important, though, in the old days.
Right.
Freight.
We had Schneider Beverages across the street.
Oh.
Eddie Hodak.
Yeah, Ed.
Ed and his father Eddie.
Yeah.
And he had Schneider Beverage. That was interesting.
Yeah.
We had another very interesting family was the Ward family.
Oh, yeah, Wards.
The Wards.
Gillette?
Yeah.
Was that the Ward
Yeah,
shop?
they were Addison Ward and Vera,
Yeah.
and they had a child, unfortunately, that was killed by a bread truck.
A bread truck.
Yeah, and then their daughter, unfortunately, on a beautiful horse, she went for a ride, and actually she met her end right here on not Madison, but Maple.
Right on Maple
and Blue
Street.
Point. The horse,
Threw her.
no, slipped on the ice,
Slipped on the ice.
went down, and that was probably 1950.
Wow.
Wait a minute. Was I out of school? No, I wasn't. So 1949.
Oh.
Yeah.
I knew
About
there was
the
a
same
tragedy.
time when my father was ill.
Yeah.
And she, what a nice young lady, but she was riding with wool gloves.
Oh.
Can't ride a horse with wool gloves.
No.
I don't know why she was doing
And
that.
there was ice.
And she hit her head and died almost instantly. The horse lived for 3 weeks, and they took care of that horse.
Really?
And finally died too. Yeah.
I remember
The
that
irony of
house.
it was Janet was a terrific young lady, and she was older than I was by maybe 3 or 4 years. But after my father passed on, I would take care of my sister, who was 5 years old.
Wow.
6 years old at that point. We would go over there because that was my excuse to go to ride horses and do things. You know.
Their house always looked like a ranch to me. It had a horse barn and
Oh yeah, it did,
the wards.
but it was a Sears Roebuck house.
it was a Sears Roebuck house.
Right, you know they all had that
Or big porch.
the rise with the peaked roof, and then the rest of the house sort of with
So that was a Sears house. I never knew that, Sears Roebuck.
that was a kid house.
And then it disappeared, I believe, when CVS went in, didn't it? Or right around that time. They tore that-
CVS, that's only in the last 15 years.
But when did the house disappear?
Oh well, O'Connor had it after her.
Oh, Connor did. Okay.
Yeah, and he did the trailer. He had house RVs. The house trailers.
Oh, yeah, the house trailers. That's right.
Recreational trailers.
I remember that.
It was a heck of a nice guy. A great neighbor.
And do you remember the old Navy store, Army Navy, right by your property up there?
Yeah.
It was a garage for a while, and then it became an Army Navy.
Yeah, well, that was... it was a Shell gas station.
Yeah, I just remember it vaguely.
Oster, I could have the name wrong, but he had. I know when I first started plowing, the whole stand of oaks that sort of is still seen on the corner of Fairview and Railroad Avenue.
And Railroad, yes.
That stand of oaks stretched all the way to Montauk Highway and further, and that stand of oaks came down. I guess was cleared, and I don't know whether my father was involved on clearing that or what, but I know in between all this stuff, I think it was Oster, he ran there was more vehicular junk in that field.
There was.
And I used to plow that field with our
and what did you hit?
Ford Ferguson.
Oh,
Everything.
Gee,
Holy
everything.
moly.
Running boards?
But I also found an arrowhead.
Didn't you really?
Whether it's from whether it was lost by somebody or what. But I was a little kid then. I was maybe, let's see, my father was alive. I was 1943, 44. I was already on the tractor. In order to do the clutches, I had to jump off the seat and hit the clutch.
Wow.
You know? But I remember people would stop and watch this little thing on a seat plowing a tractor. But it was a great experience, and we sort of, my wife and I
saw you out there the other day. You were doing something.
Mowing.
You were working.
Yeah, the big mower broke down.
Big mower,
the little one.
Yeah, I saw you out there. I waved, but you didn't see me.
No,
you're concentrating. Now, in the old days, didn't you use coal there? You used coal.
We were bituminous. Yeah.
And how did you get the coal from the railroad to the...
Well, we had Daedrick's coal yard.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
And then we had. He lived on Kensington Avenue. He would truck the coal for us sometimes.
Trucked it over.
His first name was John. But at any rate, he was one of the fellows. It would be a whole carload.
So where was the coal actually dumped?
Oh, well.
By the railroad. Where was it dumped?
On the rail. Actually, it was a siding.
Oh, siding.
Oh, yeah, there was a siding because that was a feed house.
Oh, okay.
That was Daedrick's coal yard.
Oh, okay. So Daedrick had a siding in there?
Had a siding, and there was a weigh station there. That's where John...
Weigh station, yeah.
A weight station.
Okay.
That and then it finally became John... there I go again. You know, the fellow that did all the waterfowl and the paintings.
Oh, Hodge.
John Hodge.
Yes.
Yeah, John Hodge, great guy.
Oh, great guy.
Yeah, he was had quite a history actually.
Yes,
some of it not as sterling as you thought, but he would carve out of icicle pop sticks for kids. You know, but he gave my father. I know my father, if he would happen to see John, always gave him a cigar. You know, and I'd see John when I walked to school because back then, junior, right from the greenhouses, we'd walk every day.
Yeah, of course.
There was nobody.
Walk over to the high school or school.
To the school. Yeah.
But John Hodge, he was a crossing guard there.
Yes, he was.
For a while.
Yeah, for quite a few years.
So I've seen pictures of him in the uniform.
In the uniform,
and people say, "Oh, he was a police officer," but not really. He was the crossing guard.
And he took that job seriously.
Yeah, he did he? And
but he lived in the weight shack.
He did live
that little bitty room. That's all he did. I don't even think it had running water.
I don't know how he did that.
I don't know either.
No, but he was a genius when it came to wood carving.
Oh my goodness! I have a number of his paintings.
Do you?
Oh yeah, and that's because Gene Ammon.
I know.
Can we talk about?
Yeah, we can talk about Gene Ammon.
I knew him too.
Yeah, Gene Ammon.
My father, and he would he would go over there, and by golly, when we had our kids, and I think it was a cousin that took it over from him, Hans and Katie.
Hans and Katie Brody.
I think Katie was a relative.
Oh, okay, could well be.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
But then every Sunday we'd go with the kids over and have a sandwich.
Yeah.
It was a great thing.
Yeah.
And of course, then the barn that isn't there anymore.
The what now?
The barn that isn't there anymore.
The barn.
That used to be fire.
That was moved, wasn't it?
Fire department.
Oh, the fire.
Equipment was in that.
Wow.
But I never, I researched that because I remember seeing some antiquated, real old fire equipment in there, But they claim it always was in Bayport, where it is, next to Shands.
I remember when the fire department was down there, next to Shands.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So I that discounted that, and then that barn.
The barn at Hanson Katie's.
Yeah, that barn.
I think
I don't know if they moved it.
I think it went to the Grange over there on Broadway.
Oh, it did?
That's what I heard.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's very possible, sure.
Yeah. But all I knew is when you walked into Hanson Katie's or Gene Ammons in the old days, hundreds and hundreds of wood carvings.
Oh,
all over the
That's
wall.
how he paid his
bill.
His bill.
Did he
And
actually?
he was very fair. I mean,
very fair,
I
sure.
mean, Gene was very fair.
Very fair.
And
But
actually, so was Hanson Katie because
Yeah.
he was still doing it when they took over.
they must have had
He
hundreds
lived to
of
be
them.
84.
Is that what he did? John Hodge did. I know
He
he's.
gave me when I was a little guy, he gave me a little violin.
Oh, which he made.
Christmas.
Did he carve
I don't
it? Or?
know. I don't know. All I know is that I tuned it up, and finally, it was Christmas Eve, and there were a few people over at the house.
Yeah.
And by golly, I guess I must have hit the wrong note because my mother took the little violin and very lightly tapped me on the head and said, "Now that's enough."
That's enough.
It broke into a whole bunch of pieces.
It fell apart.
It just, I guess, attention to the strings, it just started a repercussion.
Probably dried out.
Yeah. So I put it all together.
That was the end of your
with Scotch tape.
violin.
I put it all together. with Scotch tape.
I think it's going to play.
Oh, but that was a great memory. Great memory.
And you actually knew John Hodge, then
Oh,
you
yeah,
did know
sure,
him?
I did know him, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? He's buried, upstate.
Yeah.
The Firematic home.
Yeah, right.
I found that out.
Yeah.
He was a great carver, a great local artist, artisan or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really was. So then, even after a while, you didn't use coal anymore at the greenhouse.
We then in
I remember the
I
big
think quite
chimney.
late actually, 65.
65, huh?
We went to oil.
You went to oil, and now the chimney's gone.
No, it might have been a little earlier than that.
Oh,
It might
earlier.
have been, but the oil was unbelievable. I didn't have to get up 3 times a night.
No, I know you weren't feeding the fire.
And then when we're on natural gas now, and
Oh, you
that's an
are.
absolute.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unbelievably. Probably put 10 years on my life.
Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. What about price-wise with natural gas?
Natural gas,
You doing better?
maybe 20% of what oil would have been.
Wow.
A therm, 20%.
I switched to
80%
gas heat at home. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no deliveries.
No, but it's the modern day convenience. There's a lot of things
Yeah.
from years ago you could say, gee, I wish it was like the old days.
Yeah.
But I have a 1934 Ford,
Yeah, I've seen it at the greenhouse.
and you have your old car.
I have my Maxwell.
I wouldn't want to ride across the country.
No.
Thank you very much.
Because they didn't even have good roads.
No.
I mean,
and,
go from-
and besides that, the safety factor was just ridiculous. I don't know how Bonnie and Clyde ever made it.
I don't know how they did it.
I thought for sure they should have died well earlier than by gunshots.
That and flat tires.
Oh my goodness!
I think there were
Why
a
do you
lot of
think
flat tires.
You always had to carry
Big spare.
and maybe 2 if you're going on
Yep.
a trip.
Yeah. Patch the inner tube. Now it's all done
Yes.
by, I don't know what they
Well,
call
that's
plug.
because it's plug. Yeah.
Plug in there.
If it isn't a sidewall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So easy.
Yeah.
The good old days.
It's great to remember, but I'll live in the present. Thank you very
I
much.
like thermostats, hot water, indoor plumbing.
Yeah.
The little house on the prairie doesn't quite do it anymore.
No, my
No,
goodness.
no. So what else can you tell us about the greenhouse that's of interest? You must,
Okay.
A lot of people work there, I know that. Over
Yes.
the years,
Yes.
hundreds of people.
Yes, and I see them very often and reminisce.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But our employment is right now we have a certain amount of seasonal.
Yeah,
But
seasonal,
they're
of
mostly
course.
all local people.
Yeah.
So that means the students
Sure.
must have about 8, 9 students.
Yeah, that's good though.
We have some that are maybe you could list them as somewhat learning disabled,
Yeah,
doing
that's
menial
fine.
things that are
Good.
doing a wonderful job. I said to Carl, I said, whoa, deadheading the geraniums? I said,
Yeah.
if you didn't have him, you'd be going crazy.
You go crazy doing it yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So that I'm out there mowing the lawn, that's okay.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you're getting your
And,
exercise. Sure.
I've retired to marketing, which is putting flowers into their proper water and conditioning.
That's important.
And if they need help in design and
Sure.
technical help, I do
Sure.
that too. But I'm very happy with where I am right now. The other thing that is interesting is, of course, we've evolved into extensive nursery,
Yeah.
as opposed to before being wholly just cut flower
Cut flowers.
and annuals and perennials and things like that. But between Les, who is my son-in-law, and Christine, who manages the retail flower shop operation,
Yeah.
and Carl is general manager, and so it's far more categorized now,
Yes.
sectionalized. But it's working.
Yeah.
It's still a challenge that it has always been. It's very labor intensive.
How many acres do you have up there? There must
It's
be
8 now.
I was going to
the
guess
center
10.
driveway
So it's 8
is
acres.
Fairview Avenue. You know that.
The what now?
The center driveway.
Oh, the
is
center
Fairview
driveway
Avenue.
is Fairview.
That used
south
to
of the
be a
tracks.
crossing,
Yeah, that was
and
going
there was
over.
so many crossings they finally knocked that one out.
Good.
Yeah.
So the center driveway going in was Fairview
Yeah.
Avenue.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? I never knew that.
Yeah. Well, not only that, we used to have a dirt road went right by Ward's,
Oh, yeah, Wards.
and that was called Dickinson Place, and it still is on the map.
Oh, it is. A paper street?
Yeah. Well, our driveway as you first come in from Gillette is
Yeah.
actually a piece of Dickinson Place,
Wow. I
but
didn't
it
know
was
that
never
either.
deeded. So
Never deeded,
It's
no.
on our deed.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. And the Shell gas station, that there used to be a horse chestnut tree.
Oh,
And the house that was their house that they lived in, and then it went
Okay.
into a real estate office.
that was State Farm.
No, that's across the street. State
John
Farm.
Shackelford. Didn't he work in that office
Oh.
there? Over on the west side.
On the west side, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
that's right, yeah.
But that was a private home at one
Yes,
time.
it was,
Sure.
and
Sure.
and the name of the gentleman is going to come back to me that had it when I knew him.
Oh, you mean State Farm?
No, the Shell gas station.
Oh, the Shell
because
gas
then
station.
it was sold to another person when Mr. Not Howell, Mr.
Wasn't Limbach, was it?
No, but a very, very nice Jewish man bought it
Yeah,
from
yeah.
him and ran it for years. And then, of course, that whole block was sold together and became CVS,
CVS, yeah.
which was, they're doing,
Yeah.
you got to have a CVS every 2 miles, don't you? Holy crow. Do you remember when you used to have a gas station every 2 miles?
I know.
All over the place?
They're hard to find
in
now.
in the different spots that were like, why would you put one here?
Yeah.
Easy Street and in the middle of the block or things like that. I always marveled at that, but it's sort of like that in banks.
Yeah.
Where would we
Banks
be along
everywhere. I think Bayport now has 4 banks.
I know. People's Bank,
I
one
know.
car, never see another.
I know.
The whole financial
Strange.
industry is very
Yeah.
mystifying to me.
I think the first bank here was Oysterman's. Remember the branch over here?
Yes, that was Oysterman. That was a branch from
that
Fable.
opened as a branch of Sable.
Fable, yeah. Our original bank
Yeah.
was Fable.
I used to go to Sable. I
We
used to go to
to
Oysterman's and
Yep.
Sable. And then they put the branch here.
Yep.
And then they moved over to Sylvan. Didn't they go over to Sylvan, or was that another bank?
No. Sylvan is Chase, which was all the way.
That was never Oysterman's then, no?
Yes, it was.
Oh, it was for a while. Yeah.
Oysterman's.
It's had about 4 names.
And then,
Yeah.
it's
But good old Bayport
not
Flowers.
Wachovia, but what was the other W word?
Oh,
They were taken in for mortgage problems.
I can't keep up with it.
No.
No.
That's
No.
poor people who have mortgages can't keep up where to send their money anyway.
Where's it going?
Isn't it? I mean, why do they do that? If you have a mortgage with a bank and the bank is not going to go down, why can't it stay where it should be?
Stay there.
But they keep selling it, and that's where they make their money and keep on moving.
Boy, in the old days, there were a lot of greenhouses in this area, weren't there?
Yeah.
It was an industry here. Bayport-Blue Point.
Stone roses.
Stoned.
Yeah. Who Charlie Luff ended up owning. Don, well, at any rate, Charlie Luff, and then, of course, Bill Luff, who was Charlie's son, was the principal at Blue Point.
Yeah, that was
Bob Luff.
Bob Luff, Bob, who recently passed away in the last couple of years.
Right.
But a real nice guy.
Oh, boy, yeah. He lived right on Sylvan,
He lived right on Sylvan. He lived on
Gillette.
A couple of houses down from
right on the left
Railroad.
side. Yeah, 3 houses down. Yeah.
Bob Luff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe his wife is still alive.
Yeah.
But they moved. They went up to like Leisure Village or one of those spots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, there were a lot of houses, glass, a lot of houses under glass.
You had Parmentiers.
Parmentier. The big one in Blue Point, I remember, was Rose Fair.
Rose Fair,
That was a
which
big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which actually was Abrams.
That was Fremont Abrams way back.
Right.
Yeah, Abrams.
And then the cemetery here. That was
Bennett.
Bennett.
Yeah, Mr. Bennett.
You're right. And then there was Klug.
Oh yeah, of course, Eric's family.
And then Abrams' son ran a carnation range right next to Klug.
That's right.
That's where the adjacent to King Cullen.
Now, is that all due to the sun here? Wasn't the sun was
the climate was such, but also transportation.
Yeah, it was good because you were on the railroad.
Right. But
Good roads.
We did have good weather. I mean, the hurricane of '38, when it blew over, never even took and we went right through the center of it. We never had a glass go out.
Nothing.
No, I guess because of the lay of the land and the way
Now,
the
the
wind
glass
runs.
you use is thicker than house glass, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's
It
double
is
pane.
thicker. Double pane.
Double pane, yeah.
Now, do they still use glass, or are you using something else now?
Their whole changed now.
It changed.
Oh, yeah. A lot is polycarb.
Okay.
But actually, the best is glass.
Glass.
Yeah. But of course, in most cases now, maybe code-wise, you have to. They're big panes, so they usually are tensile.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, the shards could be changers.
Oh, terrible.
Can you imagine having a greenhouse range and seeing glass fly that flew out?
No.
Isn't it
It'd be
a
like,
shame?
it'd be horrible. Just horrible.
But in most cases, other than Sandy,
Yeah. One of the
we
problems.
have gotten away with.
Got away with it.
In this
Lucky.
area?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's compared to what has happened out
Compared
east.
to other places.
Yeah.
Especially tornadoes, because you have no warning to speak of.
Yeah.
At least we know a hurricane's coming up the
Right.
coast or something.
Another interesting range was Macris.
Now, where was
Macris was right opposite
Macris.
Blue Point, Atlantic Avenue.
Oh, okay.
That's about where that motel is there.
On Atlantic Avenue in Blue Point?
Blue Point, if you take it right straight up.
Oh, yeah, go up. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
North of the
That was
Montauk
Macris,
Highway.
Yeah. And he had a
Macris.
retail operation in New York.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. And he grew gardenias and so did he orchids and roses and things like that right through. And it went along until he finally met his end, I think, in a fire on the place. Very hard-charging Greek man.
I know one of the problems at Rose Fair was the school, kids, baseball, broken glass.
Well, I'll tell you.
Always a problem.
Unfortunately, the gentleman that had, and his wife that had that were so crooked that they would they probably had to screw them in the ground.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was, ethically speaking, a slap in the face to greenhouse business.
To the growers.
And in this area, once in a while, we'd go somewhere and we'd realize that it didn't only stop at him, that people were just shy of what was going on.
Yeah.
Because he went finally his wife passed on. He went to Canada
Oh, he did.
to flee, and I was surprised he got away with it because he never sent any unemployment in.
Nothing.
He didn't. He just
What about long-term employees over there at Bayport Flower Houses?
okay.
How many? Or do you have a lot of those?
Yeah,
or-
well, Norma Waller, she's 82 now. She still works one
She
day
still
a week.
comes in?
One day a week.
Good
She'll be
for her.
in Friday to do
She
the
will.
Memorial Day
Yeah.
wreath.
That's a big one.
Oh, yeah. And she and her husband had the Waller greenhouses on the corner of Easy Street and Greeley,
Over in Sayville.
where the apartment buildings
Yeah,
are.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And you had other long-term
Oh, sure.
over the years, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Me.
You, your whole life.
No. The on the place now,
Yeah.
I would say 15, 17. Tolly is 28 years.
28 years. That's wonderful.
But a lot of the people that are working for us are over 15 years.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful?
And we've been fortunate to steer citizenship to those individuals that were worthy.
Sure, absolutely.
Now it's more difficult as ever. And we don't even have anyone that
Yeah.
qualifies.
And the other thing that always
Because
interests me about
everybody is.
Bayport, you have your old phone number.
Yeah.
It's 000. Oh no, it's 0014.
Yeah, yeah.
You must have been the 14th.
Yeah, I guess so.
It was like
Funny.
always reminded me of Thornhills and
Yes,
Sayville.
03.
0001.
One, yeah.
One. And Bayport Flower Houses is 14.
14.
Can you imagine that? I guess in the old days you were Bayport 14.
Yes, it was.
That was your phone
BA
number.
14, yep.
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 And
But
you
you'd
kept
pick up,
that.
But you'd pick up the phone and get a,
Number, please.
that's right.
No more number, please.
And that all came out of the switch exchange on the corner of Center Street and Railroad Avenue.
Center in what town? Sayville.
Sayville, yeah.
Sayville.
Yeah.
Wow, that was the switchboard, huh?
Yeah.
I just remember party lines.
Yeah,
When
oh,
we
yeah.
first came out there, our phone number was Blue Point 41405R. We were a party line.
Yeah.
Long gone.
Isn't that something?
Long gone.
Well, soon the landline will be long gone.
Yes.
Listen, we've had natural gas for years and years
Yeah.
along Montauk Highway.
Yeah.
So when we did our eggs,
Tap into it.
you boiled the eggs,
Yeah.
you know, and where'd the eggs come from?
The chickens.
Chickens we had.
Sure, right from there.
Yeah.
Do you have any chickens left now?
No, yes, we do now again.
You do in the back?
Yes. Carl and the kids have
I didn't-
decided to have chickens.
I
You
s-
should see them. They're not laying yet. They're going to be
Oh, they're
laying in
not.
another maybe 2 months.
I've never seen them in person, but I think you posted them on your website or
Yes,
somewhere.
Facebook or something.
I see
The
them on
kids are doing
Facebook,
that.
but
Yeah,
I've never.
yeah.
Do you have any roosters over there?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
wonder. That'd
But
be
a
real
lot
nice.
of the areas are relaxing their rules on
Yeah,
chickens.
I know they are. I think there's an article in today's paper about chickens.
Right, I read it, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
good. I like that.
I know.
The other thing I always like to see are the cats in the door. Well, cat. I think it's one cat now. It used to be
Two, I think we have
Two?
a wholesale and a retail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I always like to see Buzzy.
Buzzy is.
And your dog's
Dog's
there.
getting too old now. 15,
old.
And I can't leave her too far out of where
That
she-
makes it like a homey place.
Yeah.
I like that.
But getting back to greenhouses.
Yeah, greenhouses.
So the Wohlers, his brother, Herman's brother, had the greenhouses across the street from us.
Across the street over
Right
there.
across me to the left. Their house still stands as, I think, what is it now? A real estate office? Right next to 7-Eleven?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
I
was
think
their
it's real
house.
estate today, that White
Yeah.
House, yeah.
And then he grew calories
Yeah.
and specialty
I
crops.
always remember wildflowers, or outdoor flowers growing on that property.
And then there was Sirianni Minority.
Only in minorities.
That's on the corner of Lake.
Yeah.
Now that's apartments, they're condos. And actually his granddaughter, oh no, it's actually his daughter is living there.
Oh.
In one of them. That's really something.
Now, how's
Dempsey's had a small range.
Who did now?
Jack Dempsey,
Oh, Jack.
but not the boxer.
Not the famous boxer, no.
No,
No.
but Jack Dempsey was a very handsome guy. I still remember he grew Marguerite daisies, and he was on. I'm going to say Dietz Court. Is that the one that's off of
Dietz
Nelson?
Court is, let's see, is that off Nelson? I thought Dietz Court was behind Flo's or down that way, Atlantic Avenue.
Oh, okay, then I'm wrong.
Dietz Court.
When you make, of course, you have Namke Lane, and then you have Nelson, and then you have Danes.
Yeah.
But there's a little court right here.
Oh, yeah. Is that Hubbard Court?
Oh, maybe that's Hubbard?
Hubbard.
Oh, okay. And he had his greenhouse range in the back there.
Right in the back.
And there was an article in the Suffolk County News on him.
There was, huh?
Not too long, a 70-year ago thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he was a hell of a nice guy. And as I say, it was amazing how back in those years, when bread was 25 cents a loaf, you didn't have to go making big money.
No.
Because your kids would go on their own to school if they wanted to, right?
Yeah.
When my father passed on, and I had gone into reserves, so I knew that I was pretty well insulated. And by the way, Bob Shepard, who was supposed to come here this afternoon, he didn't. He and I were in reserves. We.
Oh, you were.
Yeah, he joined as well as I, and he was, as I say, he was a year, 53. He graduated.
Difference.
Yeah. And I went to Navy, but then I saw the writing on the wall with my father had passed on then.
Take over the
already in
business.
53, and in February of 53. And so I went to Farmingdale for 2 years and commuted and had a very good education.
Good.
The only trouble is they're changing a few of the botanical names. Gene.
Why are they doing that?
I don't. They found out they were classified wrong. But boy, to try to get that out of my head, very difficult.
No.
I can't do it.
That won't change. Gisbert, do you go to reunions of these people?
Yes.
You do go to reunions.
Yeah. I've been going the last 8 years.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So you'll get to meet some of your Bayport
Right.
high school classmates.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. Today, I think they're graduating, about 150, 200? I don't even know how big a graduating class is today, but it's big, I think.
No, I think it's over 200.
Over 200.
Yeah.
And here, what was here?
49,
Maybe
I thought.
49?
I could be wrong.
No, you're probably right.
Well, no, it looks awful even to me, so it must be 50.
Well, even 50 in round numbers.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you go to the reunions. That's great.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to ask, how did you
Henrietta, a lot of these people married classmates in the same year. Yeah.
Now you
like
didn't.
Henrietta Wilshire.
Okay.
I married Barker. Yeah, Doug Barker.
Now you didn't marry a classmate.
No. Joanne came from.
Joanne. Where was she?
From Wantua.
Oh, Wantua.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, how'd you meet her?
My sister.
Oh, your sister.
Yeah.
Oh.
I had gotten from Mantha, Mantha's garage.
Yeah, down here. Yeah. Bayport Avenue.
1956, 57. One of the first TR3As that he brought in, 58. TR3A.
Wow.
Yeah. And great sports car. Loved it, And that could tie in the fact 58, 59, 58. I remember parking it in front of the one boiler that I was coal firing.
Oh.
But it was all right. It was fine. But at any rate, what happened is my dear sister Norma, who passed on in 91. 91 was a rough year. She met this fellow when she was going to school up in Buffalo, and unfortunately decided it would be her life's partner, but it didn't work out.
Didn't work.
So she came back to Bayport, and Olga Miller was an instrumental part in helping my mother see her reestablished,
Good.
And so I gave the car to my sister to drive to Hofstra. And of course my sister knew Joanne And Joanne couldn't believe Gisbert. Who the hell is Gisbert?
Who's that?
Yeah, but she came out to see who it was, and
Yeah.
2 years later
Went
we were
from there.
married. Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And
Is there anything else you wanted to say as far as history
you know,
or?
Gene, we could go on.
I know.
Forever, I know.
That's what Bob Parenti just said too. Could we go for another hour?
Yeah.
But
Is it an hour?
it's an hour.
Yeah. Well, if you want to have anything
wonderful.
else or have any questions you want to ask me, because you've asked me, and I've asked you questions.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course. Back and forth.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, it's nice.
steeped in
Now I have
history.
to get up. I have to get to Bayport for my annuals.
There you go.
I haven't done
no
that
more
yet.
impatience.
No more impatience.
Not for
well,
another
New
3-4
Guinea impatience.
years.
I'll
Yes,
do
you can
those.
well, begonias are good.
Begonias. I'm going to put
Sunny
begonias.
spot petunias.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Coleus are important.
I'll miss the
Think-
impatience, but there are
No.
others.
Think coleus.
Yeah, coleus. That's what I'll do.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I
But
usually-
diseases have evolved from years ago when I was raising carnations. I had to culture carnations
Culture.
to try to eliminate fusarium and fusarium wilt and rosarium. And I did that in a controlled environment in our
Good.
one cellar.
Good.
And then diseases that came along, red spider mite resistance, aphids that were
Yep,
like
aphids.
gorillas.
Yep, they'll eat.
And it's just amazing. And
Yeah.
then came along chemicals.
Yes, of
Now,
course.
we've lived through chemicals that
Yeah,
it's amazing. Asbestos,
I know.
which is not a chemical, it's an earth substance. And I know that I tore out when we were changing our heating systems over.
Yeah.
We took out tons of asbestos, no one knew.
God.
But we were fortunate because that was long fiber asbestos.
Yeah, oh, that's good.
Not the
Yeah.
brake lining asbestos.
Airborne.
Or the type that comes off of certain electrical installations.
Yeah.
That's what Bill Lindsay has.
Oh, poor Bill.
You know that.
Yeah.
And his son is, but I think they somehow
Yeah.
stabilized him.
Bill's a good man.
Yeah.
His term is over now. You know,
Yes,
his,
that's right.
Five.
His tenure is up.
Yep.
But then the other thing I want to mention
Yeah.
is how DDT,
Yeah.
without anybody knowing it,
Yeah.
Silent Spring was not far off before we got a handle on
right.
that, because so many animals, the human and
The osprey.
and avian, were affected by it.
Sure.
Just amazing. And so actually, now we're mostly all organic as
Organic.
far as lawn fertilizers.
Good.
I know Scott's is still, but
Yeah.
some of the pension for these perfect lawns
No.
comes at a sacrifice. So every time my wife says, "Ooh, crabgrass," I said, "Oh, and it's so green and lovely."
And it looks beautiful when it's cut.
It does.
I just care
So
that it's green.
I like the varying textures.
Yep. That's all.
And then I have planted in our house. We have a house in Cutchogue, which
Yes,
my
oh,
stepfather and my mom purchased. He was Mort Conkling, a wonderful man.
Oh yeah.
Very fortunate to have him in my life.
Gotcha.
He and she purchased a house out in Cutchogue in '56.
Wonderful.
And so when my mom passed on in '91, or earlier actually, I bought it from the estate because it was her long-term insurance.
Sure.
And it worked out very well
Well, that's great.
because unfortunately she acquired dementia.
Yeah.
It was not a happy year and a half, 2 years of her demise, but that's in the past and you deal with it. It was, I think, one of the last patients Doc Canning had.
Really.
And he was a good man.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
man.
I remember his office down there on
Yeah.
Middle Road.
Well, he worked out of his home, right?
Yeah, right over here.
Over here on
here.
the comes together like that. And I forget.
Is that Lacey Court?
Lacey Court?
Lacey.
yeah.
Yeah.
When we first married in '60,
Yeah.
our house, Joanne and I, we married in '60,
Yeah.
but I guess it was late '59, early '60. Walked down Fairview Avenue and
Yeah.
I said to Joanne, "Do you like that house?" She says, "Oh, that's a nice house." I said, "Let's buy it." And that was a Lacey house,
Oh, a Lacey house. Yeah.
right opposite
Boy, that's nice.
John Potter.
Oh, okay. Right
And
across the street.
then he lost his wife and married Alvarez. Excuse me, Janet. His wife was my teacher, Jean Potter.
Oh, yeah, Jean Potter from the high
Yep,
school.
from the high school.
Taught English, I think, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Yeah,
A great lady.
God.
She did have her little problems,
Yeah,
but
I know.
she managed them.
Yeah, managed them right.
Well, John went off in his shingle in the middle of winter and decided to call it quits in the bay.
Oh, wasn't that awful?
Do you remember?
I don't remember that, no.
That's what happened.
No.
They found him in April.
That's awful.
Yeah, but that was the way he figured he was going to end it.
Yeah.
He was a plumber.
Yeah.
He had the place right at the foot of Bayport Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
right there where it was. It's a salon that
I know what you mean.
it was a hairdressing salon,
Yeah.
right in that group right there.
Yeah. Spotlight. Right down by Spotlight.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And he,
Plumbing.
but he was a great guy. We had
Yeah.
so much fun with John.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you never know what's going
never
on
know.
underneath their mind.
All right, Gisbert. Well,
Hey,
thank you
a
very
pleasure.
much. It was an absolute pleasure.
It's the tip of the iceberg.
I know, the tip of the iceberg.
This marks the end of the interview with Gisbert Auwaerter.